Well, I don't actually do like multiple drafts. I usually just like do one and then revise a little mess out of it and then turn it in, and that was the case here. But I guess the best way to answer your question in terms of how I originally envisioned it and how it ended up being was that's a good question. Because it took a long time for the story to be fully formed. You know, in a first draft, you obviously have a good idea of what you're writing about, what the story is, who the characters are, where they're going, that sort of thing. But in this one, I kind of sort of was finding my way through it. Like I don't generally work for an outline. I didn't work with one for this, even though the story is relatively complex, especially flip-flopping between the present and the past. You know, it's kind of a risky thing to do without knowing exactly where you're going. But I don't know. I don't think there were any great deviations from how I initially envisioned it and what it ended up being. One of the beauties of writing without an outline, where you're just sort of flying blind, is that you surprise yourself with like where it goes. So there are a number of like key components to the plot that I had no idea were going to be there until that moment arrived, and then all of a sudden, so that's the best I can do to answer your question. If I were an author, I think that did write multiple drafts, I see the relevance of the question. But in this case, there were no major changes between day one of the manuscript and the last.